to my channel. My name is Rabya and today we created this fall hues makeup look. So it's a coppery eye with a little bit of green in it, and I used a lot of makeup that is new to me. So I did use the Urban Decay Born to Run palette and also a brand new foundation, this Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define. And I really enjoyed both of these, and if you would like to learn how to create this fall makeup look, just keep on watching. Okay, so I'm going to be starting off with the BobbyBrown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. I've been on some acne medicine that's been drying my skin out really bad, so I just like using a primer that's a little bit more moisturizing in the fall time. And also my skin's just been really dry in general with the change from the summer heat to like the colder months of the fall. I just like take a little bit of this. It goes a really long way, like you don't have to use a lot of product, and it smells really good too. Okay, so next I'm going to be going in with the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Foundation in the shade F12. I bought this because I've heard a lot of good reviews, and I think that this is the closest match to me. So let's see how this goes. This is pretty scented. I don't know how to explain it, like old school makeup-y, but I like the doe foot applicator. So it's nice because you can just kind of draw on the foundation where you need it, and then I guess if you needed more coverage somewhere else, you could just spot conceal with it. So that's nice. So I'm just gonna apply that, and then using my dampened beauty blender, I'm just gonna blend that out. Okay, so now that the foundation is all blended in, I'm going to be going in with the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Concealer in the shade Sand. And I'm just gonna draw the lines that kind of form an upside down triangle underneath my eyes. Put this on top of my eyes and then down the center of my face. And then again, with this concealer, you do want to give it a chance to kind of get tacky before blending it out. It retains the best coverage that way. And I'm just going to use my beauty blender to blend that out. And I'm going to use a technique today that I heard Jaclyn Hill talking about, and that's that she takes whatever, like a setting spray. So this is the Urban Decay All Nighter, and she mists her sponge, and she said that it helps blend it out more flawlessly, and I think like it just helps retain a little bit better. So I'm going to try that today and blend this concealer out. So now that I have that concealer blended, I'm going to go in with a new product to me. This is the Hourglass Veil Translucent Setting Powder, and it's really pretty packaging and everything, but I don't know. I haven't found a good translucent powder that works for me, so I'm hoping this one does. And I'm just gonna press this right underneath my eyelid where I highlighted. And again, just because I've been suffering with dry skin, I'm not gonna let that sit for very long, so I'm just gonna take a fluffy brush. This is the Aesthetic P12, so it's pretty big and fluffy. Swirl my brush in the powder, tap off that excess because it's pretty expensive, honestly, this powder. And then I'm just gonna start swirling that onto the rest of my skin while also taking off that bake, and then using the powder on the brush and on my eyelids to kind of set the tops of my lids too. So next I'm going to be filling in my eyebrows. I'm going to be using the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil in the shade 4.5. And so it's a eyebrow pencil on one side and a spoolie on the other. And I just like to start off my brows by combing them upwards. And then I just like to do like little strokes starting at the arch of my eyebrow. And you always want to do your eyebrows with a really light hand because you don't want them to be too dark and stark. So it's always about like building on products. So it's like if you start lighter and then you can just keep going until you like the opacity and the drama that your eyebrows create. It's always harder to work backwards, so like to lighten them up after you've drawn too heavy. So you want to just use really light strokes and with a light hand, and then also just do really small strokes to kind of mimic the hair-like flicks. And then I just like to work under my arch, kind of frame that, and then work outwards. I'm missing some eyebrow hairs on the outsides again. We're trying to grow them out because the lady took them and she was threading them. And then after I do the bottom arch, I like to kind of work on that top arch again. And then I'm working the pencil at kind of like a slant when I'm working around the arch and the tail end of the brow. And then once I'm liking where that's going, in the front, I like to kind of, in the front of and the bottom of my brow, I like to just do like straight backwards motions to kind of box out my eyebrows. And then go like working my way up, I like to just do straight streaks upwards. And that gives me that like more squared off appearance in the front and then that arch in the back. And so that's how I like to do my brows on an everyday basis. I'm just going to do my other brows real quick. Okay, so once the eyebrows are filled in, I am going to go over them with the Benefit Give Me Brow. I think this is the Brow Volumizing Fiber Gel. And I like to, once, like when the wand's freshly out of the bottle, I like to work on the center of the brow, get most of that product dispensed there, and then work towards my tail end. And when most of that product's already dispensed out, that's when I work on the front. And again, that's just because like the darkest part of your brow is always in the center, and the lightest strokes of hair are in the front. Now that the brows are on, I'm going to really quickly just bronze up my skin. I'm going to be using the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer and a Real Techniques contour brush, and I'm just going to do that same C formation around my cheekbones and then my temples and underneath my chin. Again, light hand with this. In the fall and winter, I do like to frame my face a little bit more. I feel like you can get away with a little bit more of a contoured, bronzy look in the fall and winter time. So I do go a little bit heavy-handed, but again, it's your preference, and then always build on it. So start off light, and if you want to go darker, you can build on that. Okay, and then just with a little bit more product, I'm just gonna sweep the sides of my nose, just to make sure that there's color in the center of my face too, and that's not just one tone in the center. And then next, I'm going to go in with blush. I'm gonna go in with the NARS Dolce Vita blush, which is a little bit more of a deeper berry. And I'm just gonna use a Luxie large angled brush, and I'm just gonna lightly sweep that across my face. Okay, at this point I'm gonna mist my face to get all those powders to sink into my skin, and I'm gonna again go in with the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. This spray is great because it also locks in your makeup for like a really long time, so I really like this spray. Let that face mist kind of set onto my skin, so it's not completely dry yet, and before it fully dries, I'm going to go in with the Makeup Forever highlighter. This is a Pro Light Fusion, and this is in shade number 2, so it's a nice goldy highlight. And I'm just going to get that on my brush and hit the top of my cheekbones. When you use it wet, I think it helps adhere to your face a little bit more and brings out the most pigment in the highlighter. And so I did the tops of my cheekbones. I'm going to do the button of my nose, like the tip of my nose, the bridge of my nose, and right on top of my lip. And then also really quickly go in with a smaller brush. This is it's one of the Alamar brushes, and I'm just going to hit the tops of my brow bone and then I'm just gonna go over it with the clean side of my beauty blender, my whole face, to help all those products sink into one another and into the skin. So now we're gonna work on the eyes. For the eyes today, I'm gonna be going in with the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. This is a beautiful palette with a lot of colors in it. I do wish it had a little bit more of a matte selection, but nonetheless, it's a beautiful palette to create a bunch of looks with. So first I'm gonna build my crease, and so I'm going to go in with the shade Riff right here. And this is on a For Less ME3 brush. So just any like a little bit whimsy fluffy brush, and I'm gonna work that on to my crease. And so this color is going primarily in the crease, and then I'm going to work it a little bit above it and just help it meet up to that highlight shade. Okay, so next I'm gonna go in with that same brush and go into Punk, which is a little deep, really rich brown color. And I'm going to lightly work that on to my outer crease. So this color is mostly to deepen up that outer crease. And for my eye shape, I do like to create a little bit of a V with this, like with my outer deepening color, just because I like to pull my eyes out. You should, if you wanted to make your eyes appear a little bit more rounder, you wouldn't want to create this V shape outside. You just would want to keep the color a little bit more rounded on the inner corner. But if you do like that cat eye appearance or want your eyes to appear a little bit more elongated, I do suggest, like with your deepening color, just create a little bit of a wing flick effect with your eyeshadow. Okay, so I want to add a little bit of orange to the look, so I'm going to go in with a Morphe M518 and into the shade Baja right here. And I'm going to pick up that color really lightly on the brush, and with a super light hand just go over that Punk shade and where we placed down Riff, right in between there, and add a little bit of this orange into that crease and as a blending color. Okay, next I'm going to go into the shade Accelerate right here. It has a pretty coppery color, and I'm just going to press that on to my eyelid. Wow, that's really vibrant. A lot more vibrant than I was expecting. So I'm just going to go back in with that ME3 brush and back into that shade Punk and just re-deepen up that outer corner that I feel like I lost a little bit of that deepness out here. And to further intensify that deepness, I'm going to go in with the shade Good As Gone right here. Super lightly just pat that on that outer corner. And then going back in with the Morphe M518 without any additional products. So I did use Baja on this brush, but I'm not picking up any more color. I'm just gonna go around all these edges to make sure everything is blended into one another. And then really quickly, I'm gonna work on my lower lash line. I'm gonna take the shade Wanderlust, this green shade right here. And I'm going to pick that up on an e.l.f. eyeshadow C brush, just a little bit of a denser brush. And I'm just going to pack that onto my lower lash line. And so I packed that onto my lower lash line, and then also just had it meet up a little bit with that outer V that I created. And I'm finding that the best way to get this to show up pretty pigmented is to do more of a pressing motion. And I'm going to go back in and blend that out. And then to blend that out, I'm just going to go back in with that For Less brush, a little bit more of Punk, and work right underneath it. And again, when you're blending out your lower lash line, it's best to hold the brush at an upward angle just so you have a little bit more control and it's not coming down too far. Okay, so now I'm just really quickly going to line my waterline, both upper and lower, with the Estee Lauder Double Wear eyeliner in the shade Onyx. I'm going to really quickly do a winged eyeliner using the Makeup Forever ink eyeliner. So I'm gonna let that eyeliner, give that eyeliner a second to dry, and while that's drying, I'm gonna work on my lips. So I'm going to be going in with two Kat Von D products. The first is this lip liner in the shade Hawkins. I'm gonna fill in my lips completely with this, which is pretty dark, and then go over it with this Kat Von D lipstick in Bow and Arrow. So now that I've given the eyeliner some time to dry, I'm going to be curling my eyelashes and going in with the It Cosmetics Superhero Mascara. Oh, and before I forget, I'm going to go back in with that same Makeup Forever highlighter and just put a little bit on the inner corners of my eyes to finish up this look. Okay guys, so that completes this fall hues makeup look. I really hope you enjoyed watching. I really hope you learned something new and are able to recreate this look with whatever palette you do have. I know that there was a lot of hype and a lot of like advertisement for the Urban Decay Born Torn palette, so I assumed like a lot of people might own this. But if there is a palette that you own that you wish you could see more looks on, just leave them in the comments here or on my Instagram. It is @rabsbeauty, and I will try to incorporate that into one of my next looks. And yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please consider liking and or subscribing to my channel, and I will see you in my next one. Have a beautiful day. Bye.